What is up? I am Tanya Daka of LegendMakerGlobal.com. That's the first time I've said it on video, I think. And if you weren't here, I don't know, last week or whatever. Yeah, last week. TanyaDaka.com became LegendMakerGlobal.com. Badass Digital Inc. Grew up, put on our big girl panties, and have decided to do this shit the way it's supposed to be done. And in that process, we have been talking this week about sovereignty. A lot of people gave me a resounding hell yes, I am sovereign when I asked that question. And I am absolutely certain that I would have given that same answer probably a year ago. Maybe it would have been less. But a year ago, if you would have asked me if I was sovereign, I would have been like, fuck yes, I'm sovereign. I do what the fuck I want to do. However, if you look at my patterns of behavior, if you look at how often I show up in my marketing or how authentically I speak or how whatever, like, you can feel that hell yes was actually a mask. It wasn't a hell yes. I thought it was. I was hoping it was, but it wasn't. So in an effort to continue building my legend, I'm working on my personal sovereignty. So if you are one of those who knows yourself to be sovereign in every form and fashion, I am so fucking stoked for you. I am literally jumping. This is the extent of the look of my excitement. Thanks. But I'm literally jumping for joy for you. And for those of you who are not yet personally sovereign, or you're not yet sure if you have sovereignty, then take a look at your personal actions. Take a look at your business actions. Take a look at how many times you bend and fold and shape when someone asks you for something or asks you to do something, or when you make a commitment to yourself and then decide not to follow through with it. I am guilty. I hope that plane is not too loud. If you find yourself making plans, the same plans over and over and over again, and you've not made an effort to resolve that repeating pattern, we're going to allow ADHD, but we're also going to allow that we know we have ADHD. So then what do we put into place to help us dance alongside that ADHD? Yeah. So the question becomes then, what actions have you been holding back from that you know you need to take? What plans have you slipped and slided on, slipped and slid on, I guess that's right, that kept you swerving away from your goal instead of toward your legend, right? And I will tell you this, our consumption is what impacts our sovereignty, and that consumption can be media, it can be social media, it can be food, it can be hydration. Like, what we put in here and in here impacts our ability to adhere to our vows that we make to ourselves. It impacts our ability to move through the limiting beliefs, the generational trauma, the wounds, all of this, our ability to stand for ourselves and move toward the legend that we're trying to build starts with what we put in. And our language to ourselves is part of that, right? Because that's an internal sort of input, but it's still an input. We're still allowing shame. We're still allowing blame. We're still allowing resentment. We're still allowing all the things. We're not yet controlling what's going on in our minds. So the thoughts we consume that are our own, we still have to monitor, and we still have to correct, and we still have to train. But if we're not taking those steps, we're not allowing for our personal sovereignty to really take hold. When you're not standing in that personal sovereignty, it becomes harder to build your legend. It becomes harder to rebuild the world, right? And that difficulty is what will push us off track, right? We have to be focused. We have to be dedicated. We have to commit to the end game. And then we have to commit to the personal sovereignty that will see us to that end game. So when we talk about building your legend or legend making, building your legend and rebuilding the world, what we're talking about is your business. So whether your legend lasts just your lifetime or just whatever period of your life that you're going to work, or whether your legend goes on to impact others and stay around for centuries or decades or centuries after that, it's all interconnected. Like your legend impacts my legend. My legend impacts somebody else's legend. We are all points on a blanket woven together, and your story, your ability to tell your story, your ability to live your story, your ability to build the legend that you are meant to build impacts everyone around you in some way, shape, or form. That means that regardless of how long-standing your legend will be, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your offspring if you have them, to your community, to the family that you leave behind. You owe it to them to fulfill that legend. However, if we are acting out of personal sovereignty, then we are acting outside of that container. Like, that is not an impact, right? It is a side benefit, so to speak. So legend making becomes the making of our stories. Consumption, realization, consciousness, all of that comes into play and allows us to build something even more meaningful. Now, the LegendMaker tagline is building legends, rebuilding worlds. So in building your legend, if you are, part of that scene, you are then able to give back, to help with whatever cause or good deed or reparation or whatever it is that you are excited to be a part of, right? For LegendMaker Global, we are helping all sorts of camps or causes, because we know that it's going to take a global village to undo. I don't even like saying undo, but it's going to take a global village to repair the damage that is done on a day-to-day basis, right? So we support ocean efforts, we support soil efforts, we support conservation efforts, rainforest efforts, we support animal rehab, we support the housing crisis solutions, we support food insecurity solutions, and all of this stuff is going to be on the site once it's done. But my point in all of this is, it doesn't take that much for us to be a part of any or all solutions that we need to be a part of. So whatever legend you're building, consider it maybe a part of your story is written to do something even bigger. With that said, I'm going to shut the fuck up and get out of your face. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Am I full of shit? Do you agree with what the fuck I just said? Do you disagree? Do you agree with some of it? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I would love to hear from you. I would love to have a conversation about this. So jump in the comments and let me know what you have to say. Later.